Military members are now being forced to line up at food banks because Donald Trump shut down the government and they are not receiving a paycheck. Just take a look.
Take a step aside here. There is quite a bit of military members and their families in line because of this government shutdown. We're in day 9 of it, and they're here for a food pantry. There's all sorts of food that is available, and I spoke with some military member spouses, and I spoke with some department heads here at the ASYMCA on why this is so important. What's the difference in the amount of people that you've seen from today to previously?
So when we first started coming, there definitely wasn't this amount of people. It was a lot, but it wasn't this amount to where it wrapped around the building. But lately it has been a lot. Like, we were here last week and we were in line for like 2 hours.
Yeah, our brave men and women in uniform forced to line up at food banks because Donald Trump keeps lying about this government shutdown. Remember, they control the House, they control the Senate, they control the presidency, they control the Supreme Court, they control all of these government agencies, and they still cannot keep the government open. So MAGA, is this America being great when our military has to line up at food banks?
This is ridiculous. Military members have now had to resort to food stamps and food pantries because they and their families are not being fed or paid during the government shutdown caused by Republicans. Republican Speaker Mike Johnson could call Congress back into session where they could pass a stopgap measure to assure that these military men and women get paid. But that would mean swearing in a newly elected Democratic senator, which would result in the release of the Epstein files, and you know that the Republicans do not want those files released. More proof that Donald Trump and Republicans simply don't care about our men and women in the U.S. military.
Tonight, the government shut down day 9. House Speaker Mike Johnson was confronted on live TV today by a woman saying she's the wife of a military service member who isn't getting paid. You'll see the moment right here and how the speaker responds. Here's Rachel Scott.
Tonight, growing anxiety among American military families. People lining up for hours outside the food pantry near Fort Hood, Texas. Republican House Speaker Mike Johnson confronted on live television by a woman who says she's a military spouse from Virginia.
I have 2 medically fragile children. I have a husband who actively serves this country.
She told Johnson she is outraged that he won't bring the House back into session to pass emergency funding to pay the troops.
As a Republican, I'm very disappointed in my party, and I'm very disappointed in you because you do have the power to call the House back. You did that, or you refused to do that just for a show. I am begging you to pass this legislation. My kids could die. You could stop this, and you could be the one that could say military is getting paid. And I think that it is awful, and the audacity of someone who makes 6 figures a year to do this to military families is insane.
But Johnson blaming the Democrats.
Chuck Schumer and the Democrats are preventing your family from getting the care they need, not Republicans, and my heart goes out to you.
Democratic leader Hakeem Jeffries says he would support a bill to pay our military troops while the government is shut down. But House Speaker Mike Johnson has made it clear he will not bring the House back into session. And it is worth noting tonight that lawmakers are still receiving their paychecks, even though they are out of town, David.
Rachel Scott live up on the Hill again tonight.
What in the name of Code Blue in America's episode are you making me do this time? Really? Are we for real in this country?
Don't look at me. I'm not the producer.
Okay, guys, picture this. A food bank lined up with U.S. military members who didn't get a paycheck this week. Yep, our brave men and women in uniform, trained for combat, now battling for canned beans and day-old bread. Support our troops, they said. Nobody mentioned in line at the pantry.
This is sad, really. Meanwhile, Argentina just scored a $20 billion bailout from, you guessed it, U.S. taxpayers. Yeah. Your money just packed its bags, grabbed a tango hat, and said adios on a one-way flight to Buenos Aires.
No one really knows why Argentina got it. Maybe the IMF confused it with I'm my friend? Or maybe Washington thought Argentina was the 51st state. Either way, someone out there is sipping Malbec on your dime.
Is this what a so-called Christian nationalist agenda looks like? Holier-than-thou politics with an empty offering plate. The government's got scripture in one hand and an IOU in the other.
Yep. So, if soldiers are begging for meals, what hope is there for civilians who don't wear boots or badges? But hey, they told us America would be great again. Guess it depends on which America you're standing in. And that's the cold truth on Code Blue in America. only on OGM News.
So not only is Commander Kanklepuff trying to violate the Posse Comitatus Act by putting our military on the streets to use them as the police force, but under this government shutdown, the military is not being paid. Food banks have been set up across the country in order for our military to be able to have food for their families. Not only is this unacceptable, but this is abhorrent at best. The fact that our military now is facing a crisis by not being paid, but now they're forced to stand on food bank lines just to be able to obtain food.
More than 700 military families lined up to get a little help this morning. The Military Family Advisory Network hosted a food drive at Military Circle Mall to help combat food insecurity. And Dana Smith stopped by and has a look at how it went.
It's a different way to thank military families for their service and sacrifice.
I had this out-of-body experience earlier today, just seeing the cars line up. We shouldn't be in this situation. We shouldn't need to be hosting these food distribution events for military families.
Hundreds of cars lined up outside Military Circle Mall for a drive-through food bank. This event is just for military and veteran families.
Because my husband's active duty.
According to statistics from the Military Family Advisory Network, 1 in 5 military families experienced in the pandemic.
It's been really tough because we had a baby during COVID and everything, so I'm not able to go to work, and then he's always gone. So it's actually been a really big concern, and this helps out a lot.
Organizers say they know it's hard to ask for help, so they're hoping events like this will help reduce the stigma.
We're really proud of families seeking out this support because we know that life is hard. We know military families face unique challenges, and we're really proud to be here and to, fill that gap for them.
In Norfolk, Dana Smith, 13 News Now.
I take a step aside here. There is quite a bit of military members and their families in line because of this government shutdown. We're in day 9 of it, and they're here for a food pantry. There's all sorts of food that is available, and I spoke with some military member spouses, and I spoke with some department heads here at the ASYMCA on why this is so important. What's the difference in the amount of people that you've seen from today to previously?
So when we first started coming, there definitely wasn't this amount of people. It was a lot, but it wasn't this amount to where it wrapped around the building. But lately it has been a lot. Like we were here last week and we were in line for like 2 hours.
In a normal week, we usually run out of food about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Last week we ran out of food about 10:30.
8 days. Military service members, active duty. After 8 days of no paychecks, they're going out for free food. I made a video the other day and I said we don't control our own 8 days. 8 days is what, but when I'm not even talking about the fact that military members don't even have enough money or they're not getting paid while Trump is selling watches. No, it's the fact that families cannot last 2 weeks. A lot of people cannot last 14 days. This is serious.
There is quite a bit of military members and their families in line because of this government shutdown. We're in day 9 of it, and they're here for a food pantry. There's all sorts of food that is available.
Lately it has been a lot. Like we were here last week and we were in line for like 2 hours.
Donald Trump, what happened to America First? What are we doing here? Missed 1 paycheck, already standing in line for 2 hours to get food. Do you understand how cooked we are as a nation? Who can commission a $5.5 million golf course and the people in America, more specifically your own soldiers, have to stand in line for food? Okay, got it. So bad you got Laura Loomer over here crashing out because Qatari soldiers are going to be stationed in Idaho. Guess who's deciding to bail out Argentina's failed Trump-backed government worth $20 billion with our taxpayer money? Make America great again, Donald Trump. I don't know what happens when we bail out countries billions of our taxpayer dollars. Yeah, shit gets more expensive for us. We foot the bill. How is it that the people in Argentina and Israel have better benefits and more money than we do? Make it make sense.
There is a very cringe campaign happening right now, specifically from the conservatives and the Zionists, trying to get this narrative to trend and happen that people who are pro-Palestine aren't glad that there's a ceasefire. And they're trying to claim that so that they can undermine the entire movement and go, oh no, these people were never really pro-Palestine. It was just a fad. If you go on social media, particularly Twitter and Instagram right now, you will see the likes of people like Bill Ackman and Dinesh D'Souza sharing this meme to try to make it seem like pro-Palestine activists are not glad about the ceasefire. Aside from wish casting, because they really keep wishing that the pro-Palestine movement would just go away. And we're not going away. But the other thing that they are trying to do with this is that they're trying to localize this into like a party politics thing. The left has blue hair and nose rings, and they're like, you know, cause du jour was Palestine, and like maybe it's not now. That is all deliberate messaging in order to try to undermine and discredit the pro-Palestine movement. That is the reason why they picked that type of drawing for the meme. Unfortunately for them, this is not going to work. Because anybody who has been paying attention to the genocide that's been happening in Palestine the last couple of years knows that not only is this ceasefire the bare fucking minimum, it is only the first step. Palestine still needs to be liberated. They are still occupied. In fact, I'm sure many of you saw this insane graph showing where they drew the perimeters of how far they'll pull their troops back. So not completely out of Gaza, pushing them into a smaller and smaller portion, which is part of the definition of ethnic cleansing. Part of this ceasefire is them saying that they're going to stop restricting aid. They're going to open up all the different corridors and allow aid to surge in, which, again, that's just them admitting to their war crimes, because they've been saying that they weren't withholding aid. And then as a part of the ceasefire deal, they're like, okay, we'll stop withholding aid. Obviously, all of us are glad and relieved to see the active, vicious, constant assault and bombing stop. Obviously. But again, that's only step one. The IOF need to get all the fuck out of Gaza, okay? Also the fucking occupied West Bank. Get the fuck out of there. But this is not over until there is actually justice for the Palestinians. Until the Palestinians are free. All of us are watching this with a lot of caution, because we know how you guys be. When you're like, oh, American troops are gonna go in there to help with the ceasefire. It's like, you know, the U.S. troops that aren't waiting in line right now at a food bank to get food because the government is shut down and they're not allowing them to get their pay, but Israel still always gets their money. And for the record, I only oppose having U.S. troops there because I believe that this is some fuck shit to try to drag us into another war in the Middle East. When it comes to actually rebuilding Gaza, I absolutely believe that the U.S. being responsible for funding and running cover for the entire genocide the whole time has a responsibility to help rebuild it. Yeah, there should be international peacekeepers there to protect the Palestinians from the Israelis. And obviously we can't trust the U.S. troops to do it, because I don't remember who I heard say it, but they were like, the U.S. is not a neutral arbiter. They're essentially a lawyer for Israel. So there needs to be a neutral arbiter. But yes, when it comes to money and rebuilding, you bet your fucking ass the U.S. is responsible for this. And we should be helping put back together what we paid to break.
Welcome to America, where America first means Qatar gets a military base in America. And it means bailing out Argentina, while military families wait in line at food banks. Where the right has every single branch of the government, but the government shutdown is the fault of the left. Welcome to America, where we need standalone bills. Then the Speaker of the House blocks a Democrat standalone bill to pay troops. Then cancels next week's session. Then goes on TV and says the Democrats put Americans last. Welcome to America, where Trump gets a $400 million jet from Qatar, a $5 billion golf course from him. Jared Kushner got $1.5 billion from him. But the Biden crime family, Hunter's laptop. Who bought Hunter's artwork? Where MAGA continues checking off boxes on the fascism checklist, then gets mad when they're called fascists. Where the people who say they lost their free speech because Facebook removed a meme also says the left exercising their free speech means they hate America. Welcome to America, where the people who call the left violent, terrorists, groomers, demons, baby killers, vermin, the enemy within, also say they are sick and tired of the divisive rhetoric from the left. Where the people who drove around with Biden tied up on their tailgates and edge themselves to the thought of a civil war say the left are inciting violence. Where the left are sheep, but for 4 years MAGA held rallies in pastures. Where for 4 years they held Nuremberg rallies to complain about America. But now, if the left holds protests, they are called terrorists who hate America. Welcome to America, where Democrat programs help people, and millions of people who receive help from Democrat programs voted for Trump. And Trump says, we're going to cut Democrat programs. And MAGA people who benefit from those programs say, hell yeah, cry harder, libs. Welcome to America, where MAGA will cut off their own nose because they were told immigrants could smell their apple pie. And there's nothing more American than apple pie. Bye, bye, Miss American Pie.
If you're watching this, it's currently day 11 of the government shutdown and the first day that military members are missing their paycheck. So today was supposed to be pay day, and if you got free active duty checking, funds were supposed to drop October 11th. For everyone else, October 15th. But with the government shutdown still dragging on, that money is not guaranteed anymore. And in other news, the military relief societies are getting slammed. The Army Emergency Release has 7,500 applications for over $10 million in loans. USA's fronted over $150 million to over 45,000 members in just 2 days, and across the Navy, Marine Corps, Air Force, and Coast Guard relief offices, phones are ringing off the hook. DFAS says that if Congress doesn't act by October 13th, those October 15th checks won't hit. And if they miss that window, pay could take an extra 2 business days, if not longer. And to make matters even worse, TRICARE is warning that medical providers might not get paid either. Some clinics say that claims have stopped as early as September 22nd before the shutdown even began, and others are dropping TRICARE because they just can't keep seeing patients for free. The Defense Health Agency says claims after October 1st may not be processed until funding's restored, and companies like Humana and TriWest are only covering costs temporarily. So the bottom line, service members are not getting paid, families are taking loans, and doctors might walk. And Congress has just days left before the system starts breaking down. So stay informed, stay smart, and as always, stay
So our military men and women are now lining up at food banks because they can't afford their food because of this fucking government shutdown. Donald Trump keeps blaming the left when they run every goddamn branch of the government. I can't even believe I'm even able to say it, but Marjorie Taylor Greene isn't even agreeing with Donald Trump's decision on this. Is America fucking great yet? But hey, we can let another country make a fucking military base on the United States soil. We can take care of that, but we can't take care of the people that are fighting for this goddamn country. What a fucking embarrassment.
Look, if you follow me, you know I'm 100% all Republican. But I hate lies, and this one is a huge lie. So in this video that I'm going to show you, Republicans pretend, White House in particularly, that because of the shutdown, our military is in line at food banks. Watch the video and wait for my opinion.
Take a step aside here. There is quite a bit of military members and their families in line because of this government shutdown. We're in day 9 of it, and they're here for a food pantry. There's all sorts of food that is available, and I spoke with some military member spouses, and I spoke with some department heads here at the ASYMCA on why this is so important. What's the difference in the amount of people that you've seen from today to previous?
So when we first started coming, there definitely wasn't this amount of people. It was a lot, but it wasn't this amount to where it wrapped around the building.
Okay, so this is completely bull. One, before I say anything, and don't jump on me, I do agree our military is not paid enough. It really isn't, especially the new enlistings. With that being said, this is bull, because our military did get paid the first of this month, and our shutdown is for 10 days now, and they haven't got one payment missed so far. And for them to go on X and everywhere saying that our military is starving because of the shutdown, that's not true. And please, as a Republican, stop lying.
Guess who was seen lining up at food banks? United States military members and their family. let's roll the clip.
As I take a step aside here, there is quite a bit of military members and their families in line because of this government shutdown. We're in day 9 of it, and they're here for a food pantry. There's all sorts of food that is available, and I spoke with some military member spouses, and I spoke with some department heads here at the ASYMCA on why this is so important. What's the difference in the amount of people that you've seen from today to previous?
So when we first started coming, there definitely wasn't this amount of people. It was a lot, but it wasn't this amount to where it wrapped around the building.
Step aside here, there is quite a bit of military members and their families in line because of this government shutdown. We're in day 9 of it, and they're here for a food pantry.
Now, as a former member of the United States Army, I want you to understand the least common fact that people know about the military is that the majority of the military lives paycheck to paycheck. When I was in the United States Army, I lived paycheck to paycheck for the majority of it. And so when I see videos like this of soldiers standing in line at food banks to get food because they're not going to get paid on the 15th, I relate to it on a different level than 99% of the population watching it, and it breaks my heart. So I take no pride, no glutton in saying what I'm about to say. But those soldiers standing in line to get food at the food bank because they're not going to get paid on the 15th is 100% because of Republicans. Republicans who control the House. Republicans who control the Senate. Republicans who control the White House. Specifically, the main Republican who swears to God he loves the troops, and I've been telling y'all for a long fucking time, this goddamn Nepo baby who was born with a silver spoon up his ass couldn't give 3/4 of half a shit about the troops. Most Republicans couldn't give 3/4 of half a shit about the troops. I need you to understand that they could end this shutdown tomorrow if they wanted to. In fact, if they don't want to end the shutdown, they could at least guarantee soldiers pay, but they haven't done that, have they? They haven't done that because soldiers are waiting in line at food banks to get food. In fact, they could improve the quality of life of soldiers so that it wouldn't be so common for soldiers to live paycheck to paycheck, but they don't do any of that. So I guess the point of the video is this: can we stop pretending like Republicans are the party of the United States military, or the United States military has to be Republican, the Republican is patriotism, and can we acknowledge the fact that there are soldiers standing in line to get food at the food bank because they won't get paid on the 15th because Republicans don't give a fuck about them? Can we at least start an honest conversation there?
Well, the plan is that when you're in a shutdown, and we're in the shutdown, of course, because Schumer and the Democrats shut down the government because they were trying to force us to give health care benefits to illegal aliens. And now that we're in this shutdown, we're trying to figure out how to ensure that as many Americans receive essential services as possible. We're doing a lot to ensure that low-income women and children get their food benefits. We're trying to make sure that flood insurance and other insurance programs don't disappear during the height of hurricane season. But we're also, Maria, doing some pretty non-conventional things, as President Trump often does, to ensure that our troops are able to get paid. We are confident we've identified the legal pathways in order to do this, but it's really important for the President of the United States. Even though Schumer has shut down the government, he doesn't want our troops to suffer because of it. Of course, he doesn't want our national security to suffer because of it either. But wouldn't it be great, Maria, the last point I'll make on this, wouldn't it be great if the Democrats just opened up the government so that we did not have to make these very difficult decisions? You hear a lot of Senate Democrats say, well, how can Donald Trump possibly lay off all of these federal workers? Well, the Democrats have given us a choice between giving low-income women their food benefits and paying our troops on the one hand, and on the other hand, paying federal bureaucrats. Well, given that choice, we're going to choose low-income women. We're going to choose our troops. That is the choice the Democrats have given us. I would really appreciate if they gave us a different choice. The country would be better off for it.
Hi, what's up, my beautiful people? It's your lovely girl Beryl, and I want to thank you so much for being part of my growth. We are at 264 subscribers, and I told you we are headed to 1,000 subs, and I thank you. Mwah. So, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, we talk about bold stories, and we're not scared to share our opinions on what we think about them. So, feel free to always comment on what you think. So let me not waste much of your time, and let's get into exactly what's happening. America's military is broke and they're going hungry. Soldiers are going hungry as Washington plays politics. Headlines: soldiers are going hungry. Yes, that's what I want to talk about. Yes, I know it's dramatic, but let me tell you, it's happening. It's something that is going on, and it's really touching, and it's a point of concern that we need to discuss about this. So, what if I told you that the most powerful military in the world, you know the country, the same one spending billions on wars and weapons, can't even feed its own soldiers? Yeah, this is crazy. Yeah, that's right. You had me. You had that right. Reports and they're just surfacing that the US military members are going hungry and they're facing delayed paychecks. Delayed paychecks. They're going hungry. The best military apparently in the world. So the question that we need to ask ourselves is, how did we come to this? When was the world, when did it shift to this? Please share your opinion on the comment section on what you think about this. I really, really want to know what you think genuinely, and it will be an honor to see your comment about this. So let's proceed. You've watched the video compilation by now, right? And you know what I'm talking about? You do. So let me not waste much of your time and let us just diversify and dig deeply into this. Okay? You've watched the video, like I said. So across the military bases, we have troops that are struggling to afford groceries and rent. Some are turning to food banks. Yes, you had that right. Food banks just to survive. Mind you, these are family members. These are providers of their families. They're the main source of provide. Like it's going to a food bank is not bad. I don't say that it's bad, but the best military in the world is going hungry. Where is the world turning into? And while these men are sleeping hungry, and remember, they are sacrificed to the nation. They are really sacrificed to the nation, and the government can't seem to manage a basic paycheck. You know what soldiers do to a country, right? They protect, they build, they do so much. They sacrifice a lot for the government also. But the same government can't even process their paychecks, leading them to go to food banks just to be able to eat, sustain themselves, provide for their families, which is crazy, man. And while these men and women sacrifice for the nation, the government cannot seem to do much about their side of the story. All this while billions keep flowing into defense contractors, foreign aid, and political pet projects. And you know what those projects are, right? We've talked about them. Argentina is getting how many billions or billions? Yeah, so it stings, I know. The real cause is the political gridlock. When Congress fights over budgets and shuts down, the soldiers who pay the price are the ones who are paying it right now. Hey, leaders argue about spending caps, debt ceilings, and foreign wars. Meanwhile, the ones actually defending the country are told to hold tight. What if they all quit because they're now hungry? They can't even provide for their families. Remember, this is a job also. I understand that there's also passion in it, but this is a job. They need to be paid. Why are they delaying their payments? Imagine risking your life overseas and coming home to empty cupboards. And you have a family. Imagine serving your country, but your family can't afford dinner. This is just not about like a funding issue, it's a national disgrace. It's a national embarrassment to you. Like those in the United States, I know it's crazy, but it's happening. I'm not making this up. You've seen the video compilation, right? Because no soldier should ever have to wonder where their next meal is coming from. These people fight to the core for just to protect a country. It's not easy being a soldier. So this crisis shows what's really broken. Not just the troops, but the system. The system is rigged. The system is broken. The US can find money. Like, why can't they just give money to the military people? Like, can find money for everything under the sun, but just not for its own heroes. People have died. Like, these people sacrificed literally their lives to make and protect and bring peace. And that's just, it's not patriotism. I think this is just mismanagement at this point. It's not patriotism. Whatever they're doing to those soldiers is not patriotism. It's the mismanagement of funds. Just because the government has been shut down, is it their fault that they're not being paid? They need to be paid. And the people are now starting to wake up. People are now starting to know the consequences of voting for you know who. And they're really kicking. Okay, so what do you think? Should America take care of its soldiers before anything else? Drop your thoughts in the comment section and tell me what you think. And if you believe these troops deserve better, also tell me what you think. Yeah, so guys, there it goes. That's the breakdown of the video compilation. Our military men are sleeping hungry. They have to go for food banks. So it's just, and you've heard there's a video of a woman who's married to a military guy, and she's just there just explaining how she has to endure all that for what. She is a Republican and she didn't vote for this, and like you can feel like she has children at home who need her help financially because of the health issues, and now then the husband is not getting the paycheck. she's she's just devastated. You can hear her on the live recording, like, oh my goodness. Please, next time when you're choosing a leader, please focus on the benefits that they're gonna bring to the whole nation. Because it's which day of the government shutdown? I don't know, it's day 9 or 13. It's not easy. Like, how many cuts are going to be present? Anyway, I understand that the military, I really do respect them and honor them because they really do sacrifice their whole lives just for protecting people and all that. I appreciate you. We see you. We care about you. But I'm so sorry you have to go through this. I really do apologize for all the families. But Fafo is here. People are now starting to see and wake up and just look like, so this is what happens when you do this and this. Consequences are here and they are whipping hard, back in the pain. People are now missing food, a basic necessity. Anyway, that's enough for today. Please subscribe to my channel. Guess what? We are headed to 500 subs. How? Believe me, we're gonna get there, and I appreciate you so much. Please take care of yourself. We love you. I love you. And protect yourself. Have a fantastic time. Bye.